We don't know the way, my friends. The way knows the way. We don't know the way, but the way knows the way. The way itself knows the way. Hello everyone from Tulum, Mexico. Big times we are living, times of shift, times of cleansing. And a process of cleansing and a process of awakening is not always rainbows and unicorns, right? When we have transformation, when the caterpillar transforms into the butterfly, when we awaken, every process of transformation normally comes with a challenge, right? An earthquake, some turbulent waters to make us understand, right? And these are definitely challenging times. They are definitely times of shifting. And now we can choose how we see the whole situation, right? As oh my God, this is all bad. We're like the apocalypse and we're all dying, and the virus and the sickness and death and so on. Or creating a little bit of perspective and observing and contemplating this whole situation from a space of, there is a pattern here that I can personally feel and can experience, right? I feel it on my personal life. What's going on in my microcosmos. But then I see the macrocosmos at the level of humanity and I see, wow, shifts are happening. And shifts are not always happy, right? And rainbows, as I said before, and unicorns, but sometimes bring some challenges. So at the beginning, something that got my attention a few weeks ago when the whole coronavirus news started, right? And everyone was writing things and posting things. Like, it feels like you're supposed to take either one part or the other one. It's supposed you should believe that there is like a whole conspiracy, like chill the fuck out. Some people were saying, relax, this is just an invention, this is not even true. People want to just creating this whole thing to bring up the whole fear of humanity so they can control us. Some people were saying that the whole virus was created because there is big agenda from very rich and powerful people to make them even more powerful and more rich and so on. But in another hand, there were the alarmists that they were saying like the whole pandemic is gonna happen, like half of the population is gonna die and so on, right? It feels like you need to fucking choose. And this is a pattern that I see everywhere, in everything. Abortion, okay. You support abortion or not? You are Republican or you are Democrat? What do you think about that? What do you think about yoga is good, yoga is bad? Paleo is good, paleo is bad. Vegan is good, vegan is bad. What do you choose? Choose now. I feel, my friends, we human beings get so cocky at sometimes. Like we know the whole thing, right? That's why I start this video saying like, we don't know the way, but the way knows the way. We tend to think, and we love to think we know. We love to know the fact that we know when we don't know shit. That's the thing. That's the thing. And I personally felt the pressures. Like, what do you think about the coronavirus? Do you think it's either a whole invention of the government or the rich people or the 1% or from the reptilians or whatever the fuck is that? Or is the apocalypse and we're all gonna die? Choose now, choose Republican or Democrat, right or left. So when that happened to me, I took a big advice from one of my teachers, and probably some of you who have been in my classes, you may hear about this from me, which is do not accept do not reject, contemplate. One of the biggest teachings I ever received. Do not accept, do not reject, contemplate. So what I did was take a step back and say, okay, what's happening? I don't really know what's happening. I don't know. I have no freaking idea. I'm gonna fall into a very emotional place. A whole freaking drama is gonna wake up, and then, hi Tegan, good to see you. Hi everyone who is writing. Thanks for your support, guys, and for being watching. I'm just gonna contemplate the situation. I'm just gonna contemplate, and when I feel it's the right moment to take a conscious action, I'm gonna do it. Because I know I don't know. Because I know I don't know. And it's not only about the coronavirus, my friends. I'm talking about in everything in your life. In the last live video I was talking about, I received some news from a family member who is in a delicate health situation. And not long ago also I received the news that one of my best friends' data was very complicated. And what left to do? Can we understand the situation? And there is a lot of suffering from human being that comes up as an attempt to try to understand the whole freaking thing, right? This has happened to you. This happened to me. Okay, this illness or this situation in the planet, and find something now. You better find a position now. Find something now. Everyone has a position here in social media. Everyone knows, or everyone think they know in social media and in the mainstream media. What do you think? Well, I feel like the whole virus thing or the whole illness of my family member or my friend is because this blah 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 blah. And then to find some kind of peace of mind that is like, yeah, I feel like I know. So I will try to find peace out of it. But actually, hi Sophia. But actually, we don't know shit. Why not to embrace that? Because ultimately you are engaging in a near conflict that is making you sick. Not only you, but the whole population. The inner conflict is the fact that you think you know, and you think you have an answer, and you think you have an opinion, and you're so cocky, and we are human beings are so cocky, and this is the whole freaking teaching of this virus as a medicine who came us as a blessing to fucking wake up, my friends. Not only the virus, but the whole suffering and pain you may suffer every day for any reason. As a feedback mechanism to wake up and realize that you're not the center of the fucking universe and you don't know everything. We don't know anything. So this is the thing. This is the thing. It feels like there is some pressure for humans to adopt a position, to adopt a posture, to think we know something and defend it until death. That, my friends, create an unconscious pain and unconscious conflict in yourself that will translate in anxiety, that will translate in illness. And yeah, are tricky times. And if, of course there is fear. Hey Noah, good to see you. Of course there is fear. Of course there is suffering. I have been experiencing anxiety and fear and confusion and despair myself, not only because of the virus situation, because of personal stuff as well. We all do, right? We all do. But what is the call? And not long ago I was reading now a book of Christopher Wallace, one of the Tantra teachers that I follow, and in his book he was saying like, yeah, but there's a part of spiritual philosophy who say, okay, but if God, let's say, or the consciousness is super powerful, why we're suffering here? Why there is pain, right? Why do we have these viruses? Why people die and we suffer because of that? Why there is depression? Why we're illness? Why there is hunger? Why there is all of this? Because stuff like that's gonna keep happening, my friend. This video is not because of the virus. It's gonna happen. A couple of years more, it's gonna be probably a massive earth shaking, earthquakes, tsunamis, viruses, conspirational outcomes, shit, I don't know. But that's the thing. It's something that we need to accept. So this is the point, and this is my point, why there is so much suffering, why there is fear, what is like anxiety. And this is the thing, right or wrong is overrated. Fear and anxiety as something bad and happiness as something good is just a mental construct. So then what is the solution? What is the approach? Where we need to go then? We need to understand any type of suffering or any type of anxiety or any type of fear that they may be experiencing now, that I have been experiencing, as a feedback mechanism. As a feedback mechanism for us to teach us what we need to learn. All of these are feedback mechanisms, not the virus itself, but what the virus provoked. Not the news that your friend is sick or your dad is sick or there is hunger in the world. Not that fact, but what brings up in you. That is the feedback mechanism to learn what we need to learn. And this is what the spiritual philosophies are saying, right? All the spiritual philosophies are saying like how we address suffering. Right? First of all, understanding that pain is going to happen, you're going to feel pain, but there is a big part of suffering which is self-created. And when you understand that suffering, that pain, that anxiety, that is a feedback mechanism to learn some stuff, boom, there is a big shift here, my friends. And this is the shift in consciousness that I feel like we as humanity, we need to have. Understanding that the whole bad news, at some point we need to move beyond bad or good or right or wrong, but the bad news or any type of emotions are emotions, energy in motion. Energy that is showing you, is a symptom, is a message for you to learn some stuff. There's a feedback mechanism. And bring it back to the coronavirus thing. What the coronavirus is teaching you is quite obvious. It's quite obvious that the coronavirus is the medicine. The coronavirus is the master here, is the guru here. Right? First thing that is teaching us is that the whole thing is not about us, but it's about other people, right? The whole virus is putting us in a space that we need to learn that if we are not kind and compassionate towards each other, we're all gonna die. Or we're all gonna get like in an extreme sense, but we're all gonna get the virus. We are all gonna get contagious, right? If we are not compassionate and kind to each other, and like coming back towards like old people, the vulnerable people, like taking care of our ancestors or grandpas or grandmas or like the people who are in need, you know, we really need to take care of them in these times. That's one teaching, for example, that probably because of Tinder, because of Instagram, because of like your job, because of whatever, we just forgetting the essence. It's a calling to be back to the essence. And this is the whole quarantine thing, you know, it's like the fact that you need to come back home. The fact that you need to come back home and staying home, and that's the way to... Hola Daniela, Lisa, thanks for coming. The whole quarantine thing is like coming back to the essence, unplugging from wherever your mind is creating stories and blah blah blah, and coming back to family, to yourself, to your breathing, taking a space with things that brings you back to the essence of your being. Now finally some people are like, oh my god, like yeah, my life is just not paying my taxes and working for this and social media, and I'm coming back to myself. I need to be with myself or with my loved ones around, and I need to learn to be compassionate and kind, because otherwise I'm gonna contagious a potential illness or potential virus that I may have. So I'm gonna start to think about others, right? I'm gonna start thinking about others. That is not about me. Still though, still people are like, holy shit, I may have the virus. I don't know. I may test myself. I'm gonna take a test. Hey, excuse me, my friends. I'm coming to the hospital. I'm gonna test the virus. Do I have the virus? No. Oh, so I'm fine. Everything is cool. I'm gonna keep doing my shit. Yeah, I'm happy. Well, this is not what the virus is teaching us. The fact that you may have the virus as a young people is not very important. You may get like a little flu, but you may contagious other people in vulnerable states. So you need to think about others. This is a calling to stop being so selfish, mother. And I start thinking about humanity as a whole. Number one, taking care of all elders and people in vulnerability. Number two, coming back to the essence, coming back to be kind and compassionate and connecting with your heart. Number four, realizing that we are not the center of the galaxy, that we are too cocky, thinking that we need to have an opinion about it, thinking that we have the solution to everything, thinking that we have the control of everything. We have the control of everything. Is everything under control, my friends? A little virus, boom, everything is chaos. Welcome, my friends, and welcome humanity to the last teachings of Mother Nature. Ta-da! Are you getting it? Not yet? Well, here we go, even more intense. This is the feedback mechanism that I was talking before about fear and anxiety and so on, right? And finally, my friends, this is the fear of death, fear of dying, fear of you dying, fear of me dying, fear of our loved ones dying. The biggest fear, the philosopher Alain de Botton say, like the fear of death is the root of most of all the fears that you may experience, right? So that's the thing. I mean, and I understand, I experienced that. Here in Mexico, not long ago, I came from a Temazcal ceremony and it was like all about death. There was a process of dying within for me. And today also I received a news from one of my best friends left her body today. And today has been a fucking intense day with a lot of crying and I'm breathing and meditating and going inwards and observing this whole situation. So that has been very present in the collective, in the macro and also in the micro, in my own experiences. And that's understanding we have no control over this. That's understanding about the impermanent nature of the ephemeral nature of everything. The Buddhists knew about it, right? They meditate in Vipassana, they meditate on anicca. And as a Stoic philosopher would say, okay, what is the worst case scenario about this pandemic thing or another potential virus? Well, that the virus came and killed the whole humanity and we all die. You, your loved ones, me, everyone's die. Worst case scenario for humans, from a very selfish perspective though. Like, oh, we're gonna die. Maybe nature probably is gonna be very happy, or not very happy, but I mean, nature gonna thrive. Climate change, extinction of species, all is gonna stop. We're gonna die anyway. And personally, the thought of death and the fact of death bring me a lot of anxiety and fear, not because, since always. Especially now, it's bringing up a lot of stuff. Not only in me, but it's in the collective. So how we deal with that? Well, I will tell you how not to deal with that. I will tell you now how not to deal with the fear of death. That this is one of the most common mistakes that I make and people make. Number one, pretending you control the whole thing when you don't. Number two, pretending you know and understand the whole thing when you don't. Not being able to step back and contemplate this whole situation and acknowledge the impermanence and death is a fact. Number two, accepting and surrendering that this is going to happen to every one of us. And I think practices of death are underestimated, are undervalued for most of us, including me. And that's why I'm talking about this, because this touched me. And I tell you now, 2 weeks ago, I was scared as fuck about the whole situation, about my father's situation, about my friend's situation, about the virus situation. And the only thing that brought me peace, the only thing that brought me peace in that moment, it was the same thing that brought me peace years ago when I was dealing with strong anxiety and I was having panic attacks every day. Every day panic attacks. Every fucking day thinking I'm gonna die. Every day having a panic attack that I was thinking that I'm gonna die. The only thing that brought me peace, it was accepting it. It was surrendering to it. It was dying. So integrating death as part of life, my friends, is an antidote to fear. Integrating death as part of life is an antidote to fear. And this is the thing, my friend. This is the thing. I just want to say and finish this, that the earth is healing. The amount of pollution is reduced massively. And everything is flourishing. Nature is thriving. Just because we're taking less flights, just because we're coming out less to home, just because we're coming back to the essential. This is not only happening in the physical realm, in terms of like nature getting more green and animals getting more happy, but it's happening at the subtle level of the subconscious mind and also in the collective, in the collective unconscious. We are healing. The virus is the medicine. It's making us to come back to the essence. It's making us to come back to kindness, to compassion, to love, to qualities that are beyond good or bad, to qualities that are inherent in human being, that is in the bliss body. This is the Ananda, what the yogis and tantric says. Coming back to that bliss of just being, la alegría del ser in Spanish, my friends. This is it. It's the medicine not only for Mother Nature, not only for the trees, not only for the animals, is happening in your mind now because you are plugged to the collective. It's happening now in your mind. Now, can you tap into it? Well, you're responsible to create space of silence and pure contemplation to tap into that big shift and big healing that is happening in this moment. Better you align with that. Because every time we disalign ourselves with the process of nature and the patterns of the collective, we suffer. That's the thing. I don't want you to suffer. I don't want my family to suffer. I don't want to suffer. So an invitation to align ourselves with that fact. And surrender. Surrender that we don't know nothing. We don't know the way. The way knows the way. This is what I said at the beginning. Surrendering to this divine power, a power that is underlying an underlying intelligence that exists everywhere. That's the teaching. That's the medicine. And we are in a powerful moment. This is so evident. And we are responsible to align ourselves with all these facts, with all this truth. It's a calling, my friends. It's a calling to wake up. We better are grateful that we are living this. We're better are grateful that life gives you the experience to face death, to face pain, to face suffering, because as I said before, they are all feedback mechanisms to understand who we are, to come back to the essence, to come back to who we are ultimately, to come back to love. Much love.